Hi, my name is Judge, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at new legendary Harth Stonebrew and checking out all 13 hands, what they do, and how to play them. Every single class has one hand except for Death Knight, which has one for each rune, Frost, Unholy, and Blood. Let's take a look. The Mage hand is a classic, everyone's favorite deck to play against. It is Freeze Mage. The game plan for this deck was always pretty straightforward, although one of the more difficult ones to pull off in practice, just the precision required, is pretty fine. This is a little bit of a different one because you do only have access to one Fireball, one Frostbolt, one Ice Lance, so you gotta kind of use things even more wisely, although it can still be quite good. You've got an Ice Block, which this is the only way you can get access to an Ice Block in Standard, which is pretty interesting. So you can play that as you stall out your plan, but the idea is you are going to Alistraza your opponent's face, put them to 15, and then use your reach to end their life. Make sure, whatever you do, you want to save that Ice Lance for the extra damage with Frostbolt. So don't go playing, say, Archmage Antonidas Frostbolt on turn 9 to get an extra Fireball, because you're going to want that Ice Lance damage. A classic combo for board removal always was Frost Nova Doomsayer. Still pretty decent. Maybe a few extra ways to handle it nowadays, but the Frost Nova already doing a good job. Doomsayer, good stalling tactic. So make sure you're maybe doing that before you plan to play your Alistraza on an empty board. Put him at 15. If your Alistraza lives, GG. If not, you've still got ideas like Antonidas, Frostbolt, Ice Lance on 10 into an inevitable double Fireball finish. Or perhaps they're already low enough that you can just finish them with Fireball, Frostbolt, Ice Lance. So it's about balancing when the right moment is to deliver the Alex and to deliver that base damage. The Rogue Harth Stonebrew iconic hand is Mill Rogue. Very old, but fun hand to pull off when it works. This is one of the weaker Harth Stonebrew hands that you can get because as much as it is a fun combo, it is requires a very particular board state to actually pull off and takes a lot of mana and resources until its conclusion where your opponent actually dies. The idea behind this is you want to play Brand Bronzebeard, Cold Light Oracle, so both players draw 4 cards, and then you want to Shadow Step Cold Light Oracle and do it again. And then you want to brew it, and then you want to do it again. And then you want to vanish your Cold Light Oracles, and you want to do it again. And as many times as you can until your opponent explodes. And the reason your opponent's going to explode, and not both of you, because you're both drawing cards, is you have something they don't called Gang Up, where you are going to shuffle extra cards into your deck. And you only have one Gang Up, so you better hope you haven't drawn more than 3 cards more than your opponent that entire game. But surely you've anticipated the 1 in 13 chance of getting Rogue from Harth Stonebrew throughout your match. It's not one of the strongest ones, but in the exact right circumstance, it really can be satisfying to pull off. You've got Antique Healbot, which is a clumsy, expensive heal to survive, and you've got Vanish to clear the board and get more Cold Lights going. It can work, but it needs a very, very specific instance, and if you don't go for the combo, yikes, that's just a bad hand. Good luck. The Shaman hand for Harth Stonebrew is the extraordinarily iconic Shutterwalk hand, and this might be intimidating if you didn't play Shutterwalk before seeing Harth Stonebrew, but it is very easy. This hand is an OTK/combo hand, but the combo is so easy to pull off because all you do with this, you want to play all your other battle cries in a way that makes sense for your game, and then you can just play Shutterwalk, and then you can play Shutterwalk again, and then 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 again, until your opponent has died. A couple decisions with this hand. One, what do you copy with Zola? If you're playing against a more aggressive minion-based deck, you'll probably want to copy the Freeze. If you're playing against Control, they're doomed, and it doesn't matter. They're dead if they're playing Control, as long as they don't steal your stuff. So just make sure you're choosing something that makes sense, and whether you need more healing. You've got Healing Rain and Volcano for survivability to stall for your combo, and then once you've played the other battle cries, Shutterwalk straight up just wins. It's up to them to stop you before you get to the Shutterwalk pretty well. Also, keep in mind other battle cries you may have played in your actual class throughout the game, because you were not Shutterwalk Shaman, you were something else, and you might have played some problematic battle cries, so be careful of that. The Unholy Death Knight hand is one that can be very explosive if you manage to stick some stats on the board. This was a very common combo to come into Nerubian Swarmguard after a Hawkstrider Rancher, which will buff and give the Death Rattle to all 3 taunts. And in doing so, you provide a very sticky board that is going to let you pop off with your Grave Strength for a potentially very quick OTK. So the game plan is get minions, sticky minions on the board so that they can stick for you to buff with Grave Strength for the kill. A little versatility with your Amalgam of the Deep to look for more potentially undeads. Depends what class you are. You might want to search for something else. But you've got some spread in your other cards, Necromancer, Blightfang, to just help you get stuff on the board. Hawkstrider Rancher is the big one here. That is your best friend. You play that, you play your Swarmguard, you play your Grave Strength, your opponent dies. Warlock's hand is Cube Lock, an oldie, but a goodie. And this deck has a fairly simple game plan, although, you know, if you haven't played the list, just like a lot of these old decks, you might not know exactly what to do first. Generally with this, first thing you want to do is play Skull of the Minari, because you've got some big demons that you'd way rather have randomly summoned out of your hand than played. In fact, both demons are, you know, expensive, both in cost and in effect, so make sure you get that Skull out there. So you play the Skull of Minari, your demons come forth, you cube them to make more demons, and Faceless to make more demons, and then you play Blood Reaver Gul'dan if you haven't already won. You can get a whole lot of 5 attack charges via cube, and then Facelessing the cube. However, that is 10 mana. So if at the beginning of your turn, Skull of Minari pulls out your charge, great. You can cube it, you can copy the cube. You've got 20 damage in there, but make sure you have enough time to do that. You may instead need to just cube and Dark Pact, because, you know, again, it's only a cool combo if you are not dead. You're going to get all those back with Blood Reaver Gul'dan anyway. It's going to be a ton of damage, so just choose appropriately whether you have time to do full combo with double cube or not. Your Void Walker is obviously going to give you a lot of stalling too. This was always a very, very strong list, but just make sure you don't go too greedy if your opponent can kill you for it. The Warrior deck is Patron Warrior, and it is very strong, perhaps the strongest hand there is, and the reason why is because it gives you an OTK. It's not quite as simple as that, because you do really want to get your Emperor Thaurissan down right away, so the only weakness of this is that you do kind of have to have one turn to do something, but I mean, if you didn't have that, you probably weren't going to be okay anyway. You've got to play your Emperor Thaurissan the next turn, ideally along with your Death Spite with a swing, and then the turn after that you just have lethal, which is great as long as you know what order and how to play these cards. It's very easy. Just make sure you start with your Warsong Commander, then your Frothing Berserker, then your Patron, and then you're going to have everything having charge through the rest of your days. Your Patron on board, you're going to play Inner Rage on it, and then you're going to start going face with everything but the Frothing, as you Whirlwind next, and then run your last durability of your weapon, going face with everything that summons, leaving your Frothing Berserker for last. That's going to give you over 30 damage. You can even execute through a taunt if you need, because that'll be 0. Insane hand. The only weakness is you want to start with Thaurissan. You might not have time, and I guess it doesn't get through a full board of taunts. Well, at least big taunts. Something to note is your opponent's minions actually help you because they buff your Frothing Berserker, and you can potentially charge Grim Patrons into it and summon more, helping your Frothing as well. So it's just a huge board of big taunts that's not going to work out. Priest hand is a little bit different than most, one of the few control hands. So you're not looking to just kill your opponent immediately, no combos, it is very much attrition. There is a hero card in here called Galakron from Galakron's Awakening, and it has a very important keyword attached to it that a lot of the cards share called Invoke. So if you don't know what that is, it's simple. You play the Invoke cards. It will make your Galakron stronger, as in it will cause it to kill more minions when it is played. And if you fully upgrade the Galakron, it will also equip a 5/2 weapon. Invoking also adds a random priest card to your hand. It used to be a different effect for each class, and priests was adding a random priest card to your hand. So that's what you get through this Galakron. And all you do, play your Invoke cards, power up your Galakron, slam it. Awesome. Infinite value. You've got Soul Mirror to help you survive, which is very important. Very strong AoE, and then after, and only after your Galakron comes down, you have Kronks for a massive effect, either board buffing, removing your opponent's board. You can summon a big Chungus, lots of stuff you can do with Kronks, but only after your Galakron is on the board. This is set up for the long game. Hero power becomes 2 mana, add a random priest card to your hand, so you are looking to control the board, attrition, 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 and run your opponent out of steam. The Demon Hunter hand is pretty strong, and one of the reasons for that is it uses all of the pre-nerf Demon Hunter cards as they were upon release. So lots of really, I mean, how many of these cards were nerfed? Twin Slice was, Skull of Gul'dan was, Warglaives was, Altruist was, Metamorphosis was, Priestess was, I-Beam was. Oh, all of them. Okay, all of these cards were nerfed. So yeah, it's pretty strong. The main strength of this hand is playing Altruist the Outcast and then playing a lot of outcasted cards, clearing your opponent's board, dealing a lot of face damage. It's an aggressive hand, so if you're on the fence, if you're on the defensive, you got to do that Altruist combo quick. Do it, make sure you're living, you can come into more damage after, but ideally, you want to, if you have the time, play your more expensive cards and then Altruist combo the board away once you're in a little bit of danger and can really push face damage. So depends on how your board is looking, really efficient clearing, but if you can greed, say that, you know, a couple of big demons, play your Metamorphosis and hit face to try to set up lethal for when you do play Altruist, awesome, but you might need to play it a little quicker. Remember, you got Altruist, Twin Slice, I-Beam. Skull will then be outcasted. Play it. Play your top decks, they'll be cheap. All of a sudden, their board is gone, you've dealt a lot of damage, and you're ready to go in for the kill if Altruist hasn't done it already. This is not a hand that you should be thinking, oh, I can control the board with Warglaives, and I can control the board with Priestess. No, this is an aggressive hand. You want to be going in for the kill. Altruist will help you deal with the board. That's the only thing that needs to help you deal with the board. Everything else, attack your opponent's face, murder them. The Blood Death Knight hand is one of only a couple control hands. Not going to be pushing too much damage right away with this, but it does have a lot of survivability. Soul Stealer in particular was always an extremely strong card. A Twisting Nether with a body becomes really, really good. You've also got a lot of lifesteal, Blood Boil, and Vampiric Blood, and no Muncher for healing. You've got a lot of removal, Patchwork, Asphyxiate, Obliterate, so tons of control tools. The key to this is finding the exact right time to play your Alexandros Mograine, because that is going to be a potential win condition, and you want to play that and try to maximize that damage when it makes sense to. Playing it at the wrong time, you can get overrun a bit. Generally, you want to play it early because you have all these comeback mechanics, all these comeback tools, but you really want to make sure you're playing it at a time where there's no risk of becoming dead. So the right time to find where to play Alexandros is key with this. Other than that, tons of removal, win condition in there, and you're drawing cards from your own deck as you go. So pretty simple game plan. Be healthy, kill opponents with Alexandros. The Paladin hand is Libram Paladin, and that was a very, very strong deck. However, this is one of the slower Harth Stonebrew hands I have found. First thing you're going to want to do, discount all your Librams using your Aldor Attendant and your Aldor Truth Seeker. Once you've got those, you got a few options. If you need to be worrying about some healing, you've got your big Libram of Hope, you've got your weapon. Both of those are going to be great. You do have to corrupt the weapon for getting some healing and stalling for your other Librams. You've got your AoE, 1 health Libram as well. Awesome. The main point of this hand, though, is you want to discount your Librams and then get a whole bunch of those 0 mana Libram of Wisdoms to buff a lot of stuff and beef your Lady Liadrin. So you're going to be playing those whenever you can, and eventually you're going to be able to play your Lady Liadrin and get a whole bunch back. Your Penflinger is going to be really happy at all those 0 manas. You're going to buff a whole bunch of stuff. 2 problems. 1, when you played this deck, iconically, years ago, you got to play these Libram of Wisdoms over the entire game, and here you only have a couple turns, or it's, you know, just given to you mid-game. And 2, Penflinger, unlike the Demon Hunter list, this remains in its nerfed form. So Penflinger used to be able to go face, and then you could play Penflinger, play your 0 mana Libram, and just keep on hitting face over and over and over, but you cannot do that with today's Penflinger, nor this Penflinger. This only hits minions. So that combo is way worse now with the nerfed Fenflinger that they've included. So a little bit tough to make that happen. A little bit slower, but the plan is discount Librams, play Librams, make a billion zeros, buff your stuff, good luck. The Druid iconic hand is none other than Heist Baron Togwoggle Druid. This is, I don't think, one of the stronger Harth Stonebrew hands. It suffers from needing a lot of time to set up its win condition, and perhaps some of the cards being a bit outdated. But it does offer more survivability than some of the other hands that have a long-term plan. The idea behind this hand is you want to ideally draw your entire deck was the game plan originally. I don't, was the idea. But what you do is you swap decks with your opponent using Heist Baron Togwoggle's effect. And right as you do that, you swing your last durability of your Twig of the World tree, so that you can also play Azalina Soul Thief on the same turn, which will then give you their hand, including the 5-mana swap back. So then once they play the 5-mana swap back and it's gone, you can play your stolen version of that 5-mana swap so that you guys keep the same deck. They can pretty much, it makes nobody able to swap their deck back. So if you were to draw all your cards, you're in fatigue, you play Heist Baron, swing the World Tree, play Azalina. They can switch it back once, you just switch it right back, and they're stuck with an empty deck. So that was the idea behind the original one. Now, you don't really have the tools to be drawing that many cards. You've got your branching paths, sure, but you can swap decks with them permanently after that Twig of the World tree. Okay, maybe you can use that. You've got a bit more survivability in your Malfurion, and your Spreading Plague is going to stall. But the question is, how do you really get to draw all your cards? Naturalize is great to put them in fatigue if you have, but you kind of need a little bit of a niche circumstance to make that happen with what you're given here. Hunter's hand, I guess you could call an aggressive hand. I might call it more of an explosive hand, as it explodes onto the board, playing nearly every single card. It is Secret Hunter, and here's what you want to do. You want to play your Cloaked Huntress, and then you want to play all your secrets for free. They cost 0 mana. That's a lot of value. You're going to want to make sure you are playing your Lesser Emerald Spellstone only after you've played 2 of those free secrets. But like, that's right the turn after Harth Stonebrew. You can play Cloaked Huntress, 5 secrets, and Spellstone. And that's a huge, huge turn. So it's just a bit of an explosive hand where you just, bam, secrets and stats onto the board and see if your opponent can handle it. If they can, you do have Deathstalker Rexxar, which is an infinite value hero power. Takes away your Smork, but it does let you get a whole bunch of interesting beasts throughout the next bunch of turns in case your original explosion didn't get the job done. It is a little bit slower. Zombies a little bit worse in today's game than they used to be, but it is still better than just running completely out of steam and not having anything left in hand. Plus, maybe your original deck is going to add some value as well. Plus, Deathstalker Rexxar. Plus, Deathstalker Rexxar is just fun. But that's it. That's all the cards. It's almost every single card out of your hand immediately. Deathstalker Rexxar is a bit of a backup. Just make sure you play the Cloaked Huntress first and the Lesser Spellstone after Secrets. The Frost Death Knight hand could be called aggressive. Well, I think it's more of just like a burn hand where you just have so much potential damage coming into your opponent's face. With Frostworm's Fury, that comes with freeze as well. The idea here is you can play Lady Deathwhisper to copy all your frost spells, and then you can play Frostworm's Fury to the face, Frostworm's Fury to the face, followed by Glacial Advance, Horn of Winter, whatever you've discovered from Frost Strike, or one of your Frostworm's Furies. There's just so much to do, so many spells to cast, but really it's all about those burn frost spells, duplicating them. The hardest part about this hand is knowing exactly how greedy to be with Lady Deathwhisper. The hardest part about this hand is knowing exactly how greedy to be with Lady Deathwhisper. Play it too early, and you might just get overrun that turn. The game moves fast, overrun that turn or next turn, so you might want to use something to stabilize before coming into it. Sometimes you don't even need it at all to kill the opponent. And then other times you might just like bog down your hand, knowing when to play the Frost Strikes. Don't think too hard about it, just aim spells at your opponent's face. And ladies and gentlemen, is all 13 Harth Stonebrew hands. Some of them fantastic, some of them iconic. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. I will see you in the next video.
My name is Judge.
Whose name is Judge?
My name is.
Whose name is Judge?
My name is
That's a silly name.
Judge.
Okay, that's enough.